What is the best business structure if you're looking to protect your assets? This is a question that we get asked all the time at our law firm, and so I want to break down all the different business structures and the pros and cons of each of them. My name is Saluto Uba, and I'm an attorney that helps business owners protect their assets, save money on taxes, and protect their brand at the same time. And so when I talk to clients that ask me what business entity should I choose, this is the breakdown that we give them, and this is what you need to know in order to make the best choice. So first, we want to start with sole proprietorships because this is really the default entity that anyone that does business falls to. So a sole proprietorship basically means that you just up and decide to do business. So if I start today and I open up a business selling pencils, then I'm Saluto's sole proprietorship that sells pencils. Me and the business are the same thing. So it's really easy to start, but on the flip side, if somebody gets injured by my pencils and they sue my business, then they're suing me personally. Me and the business are the same thing. So if something happens to the business, something happens to me. So sole proprietorships are easy to start, but they're not beneficial because they offer no liability protection. There's no barrier between the business and yourself. So you're open to lawsuits, you're open to legal actions, debts, all those things are associated with doing a business. For that reason, I generally don't recommend it. Now, the next thing that we kind of see that's similar is a mistake that people make all the time, and that's thinking that a DBA is a business entity. So a DBA just stands for doing business as. This is an assumed name that you use to market your business. So a DBA is not a business legal entity. A DBA does not give you any legal protection. If you have a DBA set up and you don't have an LLC or corporation or anything like that, if somebody sues your DBA, they're suing you personally. So just understand that DBA will not protect your assets unless it's put on top of an LLC or a corporation or a legitimate business entity. Now, next, we're going to talk about general partnerships. Now, general partnerships get a lot of people in trouble because most folks do not know how to do it right. Typically, a general partnership will happen when two parties or more enter into business together. And you don't have to have a formal document, you don't have to have a formal partnership agreement or anything like that. You can have one, but you can also form a general partnership just by virtue of the way that you're doing business. So the problem with the general partnership is that it still doesn't give you any business protection, and it makes you open to any of the debts or the liabilities of any of the partners in the business. So if I have a general partnership with two other people and I'm responsible and I'm doing everything by the book, but my partners are going out, they get into a hit and run while doing company business, the person that they hit can sue that partner that hit them, or they can sue me as one of the general partners of the business. I can get in trouble with things I had nothing to do with as a general partnership. Now we call this double liability. You can be responsible for things that are your fault and things that are your other partner's faults. That's why I really am not in favor of general partnerships. It's just too much trouble, too many things that can happen, and there are better ways to protect yourself. So just know that if you enter into a general partnership, my recommendation is that you always use a LLC or a corporation as the partner and not your personal self, because you at least want some business protection. Now next, let's talk about corporations. Corporations are a tried and true business entity, and they're typically been along for the longest period of time, and everybody knows what corporations are, or at least they've heard of it. Corporation is an entity that does offer you business protection. It puts a wall of separation in between your personal assets and that of the business. So if you have a corporation, say for instance, if I have a Saluto's Pencils Corporation and someone gets hurt with my pencils and they want to sue the business, they can't come after my personal assets. They can only sue the corporation. So that's very, very helpful. I have business liability protection and my assets are protected. Now on the negative side, corporations have corporate formalities, and there are a lot of different things that you have to do to maintain corporations properly. And what we see a lot is that a lot of people are single member businesses or just a husband and wife team or very few people. Corporations require you to uphold those different corporate structures and those formalities and have meetings and have different protocols that you follow to pretty much execute any corporate business. In reality, however, when you're doing business, it can be very cumbersome to have to call an official meeting and take minutes and have assembly and all that good stuff just for trying to do something basic like open up a bank account. And so for these reasons, corporations, while they will protect you, make life a little bit cumbersome as a business owner. Now, on top of that, in addition to all the things that are required to maintain your corporate formalities and uphold the corporation protocols, on top of that, as a corporation, you're subject to what we call double taxation. Now, this means that when your business makes money, you get taxed at the corporate level, but then also when you pay yourself, you get taxed at your personal level. So with a corporation, you typically get taxed twice, which is another big reason why I don't recommend corporations. Typically, the time where you will see corporations is if you have a startup or if you're trying to look for venture capital, trying to raise money for your corporation. That's typically where those will come into play. And there are some specific reasons why you would want to use a corporation. But for the general business owner that's just looking to launch and start, you typically don't need the corporation structure. You're typically going to want an LLC. So the last entity that we want to talk about is the LLC. LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. And this just means that when you're doing business, your personal assets are separate from that of the business. So if I have Saluto's Pencil LLC and somebody gets injured for my pencil, somebody wants to sue something related to my pencil business, they can't come after my personal assets. They can only sue the business. So I'm protected. And then on top of that, when it comes to corporate formalities, there's still corporate formalities, there are rules that you have to follow, but there's a whole lot more flexibility than with the corporation. Corporation rules are a little bit more rigid, where LLC still has requirements, but they're more flexible and they work well with single member owners or a husband and wife or just a small amount of people that own the business. Whereas corporations make these things a little bit more cumbersome and they make it actually hard and difficult to do basic things in your business, like open a bank account or something like that. Lastly, LLCs are very favorable because they can have all sorts of different tax designations and you get paid and you get taxed all sorts of different ways. You can decide how you want to do that. LLCs by default will have you taxed as a sole proprietorship. And if you're starting to make money with your LLC, you can change it to an S-corporation. If there's multiple people who are owners of the business, you'll be taxed as a partnership. So there are different ways that you can be taxed, and you can work with an accountant, work with an expert to strategically figure out what's best for you. So lastly, from my experience, the majority of business owners would be best served by an LLC. Most folks are just trying to get protection. They want to start off. They want to be confident that their business is going to be able to work and they'll be able to make money without personally being on the hook for something going down. So an LLC is going to be that entity that's going to give them that peace of mind and help them get their business off the ground and be successful. So if you need help setting up an LLC, we do that all day, every day, and we'd be happy to help you. So hit that link in the description. Let's schedule a free discovery call, figure out how we can help set up your business and get you protected and get you on the road to success. So until next time, keep on grinding, keep on hustling. We'll catch you on the next video. Peace.
Audio Jungle.